Privilege to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Mexico is one of the very few places in the world that is successful. So it's a good thing to come here and get one's lessons to take to Latin America, to take to Eastern Europe, and perhaps to take to the United States. But the only way to get those lessons is the hard way, by talking first for 2 hours, and then in the questions find out what Mexicans think. So here come my 2 hours. What I would like to do is talk about 5 topics. The first, which in a way is critical for the entire world, is what is happening in America, in the United States. And will there be recovery? Are you quite sure there will be recovery? And what happens if there isn't any? And I will argue that we will have a recovery. It's already there, but it's a very unexciting one. But it has one strong and very positive side product. We will get record low interest rates in the United States in the 1990s. Beyond the recovery, the United States has serious problems, and I'll talk about the middle class squeeze and how America can turn around to a better performance. I will then talk about what is happening in Europe, and there are 3 issues that are critical. The first, the very, very tight monetary policy in Germany designed to fight inflation, an extraordinary problem that has emerged from one day to the next. And an implication of that I want to draw is that record high interest rates in Germany, record low interest rates in America can only mean one thing: a declining dollar. The second issue is how will the rest of Europe grow if German monetary policy is so tight and everybody is on a fixed exchange rate, a very serious problem, which today is slowing down the growth in Europe. So 92 will not be very good there. And the third question, is there an expectation of early monetary union in Europe? What does it mean? Is it important for business here? Is it important for Europe? And how can it be done? The third topic I want to address is the complete collapse of the Soviet Union and the very poor progress in Eastern Europe, perhaps with the exception of Czechoslovakia. Why is it so hard to make the turnaround after communism? Why do we find ourselves surprised that in these countries output has fallen 30%, perhaps more, employment has declined sharply, and what are the prospects for a turnaround? And should we be worried that there is a capital shortage in the world which affects countries like Mexico, because all the world's money is going to Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union? And the answer is, don't worry for a minute. We're going to have record low interest rates because Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union are so extremely unpromising as places to invest. Absolutely, and certainly compared to countries like Mexico today. Where are the risks of a Soviet Union that is immensely unstable? The big risk is that the implosion spills over. The implosion spills over with massive migration to Western Europe, and in Western Europe immigrants are not very popular, as unpopular as they're anywhere in the world. And second, the security risk that the nuclear facilities in the Soviet Union, most of them are in the wrong hands, and it's an extremely volatile situation. I have to address that issue because it has a bearing on the dollar. The only reason the dollar might go up rather than down is safe haven arguments, the fear that in Europe the Soviet Union produces great instability. The fourth topic I want to address is the conversion of Latin America from populism and hyperinflation to conservative management. That is clearly in place in Chile, that is very strongly coming in Colombia, overshadowed by drug problems, but clearly in the making. And it is now taking hold even in Argentina. One has to say even in Argentina, because that country has been going downhill since 1916, but now seems to have caught itself, and important progress is being made, but perhaps not enough. Every year around this time of the year, the question is, will the economy collapse when people take the dollars to go on vacation, or will it get through the summer and stabilization is finally there? Next to it, Brazil, an unmitigated disaster with absolutely no excuse. In Brazil, people say everything reasonable is politically impossible. But of course, that is not true. In the end, it will be done, and everybody would be better off if it were done early. So I will discuss that Brazil is in fact a scandal from the president down, and mostly the president, and that reform there will come, but only after the hyperinflation that is now on the doorsteps. To keep you all in the room, I talk about Mexico last. And about Mexico, what can we say? There are a few interesting questions. One is how to get rid of 20% inflation. Are there miracles that you could call upon? The answer is no. If there are no miracles, what are the experiences of other countries? And I'll make an argument, my argument, that fixing the exchange rate is the right thing to do. But I won't express confidence that that is about to happen. But I express the wish that it works. In Mexico, the second issue is the financing of the external balance. Should we worry about so large deficits? And the third issue that of course is very important, what to make of the free trade agreement. And is the Bush administration getting cold feet in an election year to take so volatile an issue to the Congress, even as there is a recession and major discontent? So that's the menu. Now, I've given away all my secrets. Let me now detail what I have to say. Let me start with the US economy. And there are two views. One view is discontent and fear. Discontent with the state of the economy, with the standard of living, with the prospects people see for themselves, and fear that things people have today, they will not have tomorrow. If you ask when last time in the United States was there such a pervasive sense that people felt threatened, you'd have to say in the Great Depression. Not since the Great Depression has there been this big latent fear that people's destinies were in the hands of people unknown or of forces unknown, that people said, take away all this bad news. Of course, confidence has been low in the middle of big recessions, like the recession of '82. But the moment a recession was there, soon policies would be in place that would put the economy out of it, and the moment the economy recovered, confidence was back. Today we're looking at a recession that is extremely mild by the historical record. We have unemployment of only 7% against 11.5% in 1982. Full employment in the United States is something like 6%, not much lower by any accounts. So it's very hard to see why it is that people make so much of so small a recession. The fall in output was 1.2%, a very, very minor decline by comparison with any previous recession. So the economy is almost at full employment. The economy has declined very little. The economy is in fact recovering. We're growing at about 2% per year. Why is everybody so desperate? Well, the first thing to say is that people are not very confident that the recovery is there. They say, where is it? And that it will last. They're not confident that it is there. We know that because all the opinion surveys that ask the question, how do you judge the labor market? Are jobs easy to find? Show an answer that is near all-time high, people saying jobs are very difficult to find. And when jobs are very difficult to find and unemployment is rising, people fear that they are the next to lose their job, and that they lose